Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of the United Rugby Championship. Now, we haven't had as many games this weekend as previous. Unfortunately, a few postponements have meant that the schedule's a little bit lighter, but this game's going to be certainly an entertaining one. Cardiff at home taking on the DHL Stormers. Looking through at the table, the way that it sits, we will look first of all at the top eight. As you can see, Cardiff just narrowly sneaking in there. They are sitting in 8th on 13 points. The Stormers, they are yet to lose a game in this URC competition, but they are not that draw in their last game, or the game before, I believe it was, up against the Ospreys, which does now mean that they are sitting on 17 points. So pretty much whoever wins this game, they have the potential of leapfrogging at least a couple positions in the URC table. If Cardiff got themselves just a stock standard win here, they could find themselves sitting in 5th at the end of this round, whereas if the Stormers get the win here with a bonus point like they have in a few of their other fixtures, they can find themselves sitting in 2nd. But do let me know who you guys think will be able to win this contest. We will look through, first of all, at the home side, and that is going to be Cardiff. Looking at the front row, Keir Dacey, and also it will be Dylan Lewis at number 3, Turnbull and Thornton slotting in as the locks, Lewis Hughes, Young and Ratty as a loose forward trio. Then Thomas Williams and Priestland will be the 19 combo. Halaholo in the midfield alongside Little Will, whose name I've really butchered there. It's a tricky one because it's like Lloyd, isn't it? But it's not Lloyd. He's got a few extra parts in that name, but number 13, we will call him just for now. Kabungo out on one wing, Harry's out on the other, and then Thomas slotting in as the number 15. We have got Darren in the chat. Booty V is here as well. Brian, Patrick, and also Giovanni is in here. Good evening, Hamish. Hope you are doing very well, mate. Munster lost the Leinster by 27 points to 13 points. Says Patrick in the end. So, yeah, the home side Leinster getting themselves over the line quite a few times. So I believe that this will actually mean that the updated table will have Leinster just a little bit further ahead. They will actually find themselves sitting 6 from 6 wins, and they will be sitting there on 27 points, I believe is the way that they would be sitting. Looking through at the away side, the Stormers, they've got a few big names missing from this matchup. Definitely those Springbok players such as, you've still got Marnie Labok. He is still there, but they are missing Damien Valimza. They have got Kitsoff in that lineup, so they will be hoping to use him relatively well. No Sinatla out on the wing still, but this is the the Stormers starting lineup for this game. Kitsoff, Joseph Weber. Now, his lineout was shocking last week. That's putting it lightly. He really didn't have a great time, or I believe it was actually the week before that as well, that he was struggling, and then Franz Maharba will be there at number 3. Smith and Ori will be making up the locks. Nabakaba at number 6. Ernest van Reenen at number 7. And then Diamani at 8. No Ivan Ruas for this matchup as well. Now it is going to be Masimla at number 9. Mani Labok sitting there at number 10. Daniel Duplessis. Leula at number 13. Lillian Zass out on the left wing. Hudsonberg out on the right. And Clayton Blomeke. So he's slotted into this Stormers side very well throughout his early stages of his Stormers career. And Luel Lan. Okay, I will try my best to remember that one. And can't you cover Kiwi Lads, or can't you cover cricket on the Kiwi Lads Sport? I don't think so. No copyright strike will come on your channel. You guys do genuine work. It doesn't, unfortunately, matter if we aren't showing copyrighted footage. This channel that I was talking about, they are doing it cynically and also illegally, I should mention, but YouTube don't seem to want to stop them from taking down other channels. So that's why it's such a risk, whether we do it on the Kiwi Lads or the Kiwi Lads Sport. If they see anyone else doing the games that they want to take down, they can just click a button and then we're banned from live streaming for like 3 or so weeks. So it's a brutal one that sadly, once the Cricket World Cup's over, we're going to be able to cover all the cricket we want to. But until then, they are pretty much holding the monopoly of YouTube cricket commentary, unfortunately. This is the Cardiff bench and the Stormers bench. Some very strong players off the bench for both of these sides. A lot of experience with Brock Harris there at number 18. Also keeping an eye out for Tamani and Williams off the Cardiff bench. And Paul DeVette, the replacement halfback, going to be hoping to have a relatively big game as well. The Stormers, they are wearing their yellow. Oh, sorry, not their yellow. That is white. Maybe early in the morning, but it's not that early that I don't know the colours. Is it the Cardiff Army Park? Says Connor. I believe it is a home game for Cardiff. I decided to go with Cape Town Stadium in my background. I decided it looked quite bright and nice, and it's supposed to be a relatively, I guess you call it a relatively nice day today here in New Zealand. So I decided, why not? You're looking very trim, Amish. Have you lost weight? Not that I know of, although it depends actually. No, maybe a little bit. compared to a month or so ago. I've probably gone down a few kgs. I went to the gym a couple times. Maybe that's all that it's taken to look slightly trim, but I appreciate that, Darren. And greetings, Hamish Munster. Leinster was a really good game. Unfortunately, Leinster's depth on the bench really showed. 2 yellow cards for Munster. Didn't help either, said Mountains of Asylum. And also we have got there, let's go boys, says Sunko. So do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will be able to win this one? It's going to be Mike Adamson in charge of this game. Marnie Lebok will be kicking it off for the Stormers. This game, for some reason, just gives me game of the weekend vibes. I think it's because these two sides certainly have the potential of putting on some great performances when they do get it right. Looking forward to it. Right. Kickoff. Kits off. Ready to go for this matchup. I don't believe he will be the man who receives the kickoff, unless, of course, he runs the 10 metres quicker than he has ever run them before. But Marnie Lebok kicks it off long at Cardiff Arms Park, taken by Cardiff inside of their own 22, and a good low tackle made by Ernest van Renen to get us underway. Yeah, do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will score the first try of this matchup? The exact player, I think Clayton Blomake's probably got a decent chance, and he is actually going to have the ball now on the halfway line. Nice short ball to Lelian Zas. Good work in the breakdown, though, from Ben Thomas, almost able to get the turnover for Cardiff. Marnie Lebok now goes back to Dan Duplessis, currently on the halfway line. Another good tackle made by Cardiff. Now, we've seen the Stormers, their back three is lethal when they get it right. Even though it is forever changing. For this matchup, they've got Blomekes, Zas, and also Hudson Berg. Now, the short ball option for Marnie Lebok didn't quite find the hands of Clayton Blomekes. Kits off. Going to run it hard at the line. So far, the Stormers, good phase play. Managed to get about 6 phases in a row. No real damage done by Cardiff's defence as of yet. Joseph Weber better with the ball in hand than he is when it comes to the lineouts at the moment. Now out wide, Hudson Berg receives it 35 metres out for the line now. And that's going to be the knock-on against the Stormers. The first sign of a lack of ball security from the away side. It's available. Williams goes back into the pocket. Kick tie from Priestland. They'll be looking to get a few of those extra metres. It's going to be slapped back onto the side of the Stormers here with Marnie Lebok. Ernest van Renen leaves it for Marvin Ori. This game's played at a very fast tempo. The moment going short side. Nice work with the tackle there on, I believe it would have been Nabakaba, driven backwards. And hello says it was Kian. Welcome into the live stream, mate. Hope you're doing well. Do you think the box teams have been surprised by the level of the Northern Hemisphere club teams? I think it's actually relatively even at times, which I think is pretty awesome to see for the URC. Like, anytime a side is on the road, it's always been that much harder to try and get yourself a win. And I feel like it adds a lot more, I guess you could say it adds more depth into the competition, knowing that it's so hard to win on the road. But at the moment, it seems like Stormers want to add another win on their board, and they will be going for the touchline after the penalty went the way of Lebok. That's a brilliant kick, or is it? No. Just manages to keep the ball in the field of play there, Priestland. Now kick way back downfield, Blomekes. Little bit of a mistake, but it does go backwards. Going to be play on just for now, and he decides to run it instead of kicking. Blomekes almost going straight through, but a great tackle made. I believe that was Reese Keir that time. Now Ori, pressure on Lebok, but still manages to find his offload to Duplessis, who goes up the middle. Dan Duplessis, looking like he's got plenty of pace. I don't know what happened to Thomas Williams, but it looked like his legs just didn't want to stride as quickly as he wanted them to. I think he's all right, but it did look like he was kind of running with a broken leg at one point there. Now Marnie Lebok back to Dan Duplessis. Cross kick attempt, looking for Hudson Berg. Too much on it, and it will be going out on the full. RIP Nana Barrett, says Marco. Yeah, the big news of the Barretts all missing that first Japanese match. I learned today, Marco, or Johnny, I guess I could call you, that the Barbarians play the All Blacks 15 at the exact same time as the All Blacks play. Now, I don't know who decided that that was the schedule they'd go with, but that seems really dumb to me. I don't know whether that's just me, but having the All Blacks 15 play at the same time as the All Blacks, I feel like kind of takes away the point of the All Blacks 15, of showing off the skills of the players who aren't playing for the All Blacks, but no one will be watching them if the All Blacks are playing. If that makes sense. Who do you say is going to win? So before this matchup took place on my last live stream, I said the Stormers by 7 if it's not raining. If it's raining, Cardiff by 3. Just because I felt like it was going to be a relatively even contest with the rain pouring. It doesn't seem like there's any rain though, so I'm going Stormers by 7. I think Cardiff are certainly going to have to work hard in this contest though, because the Stormers, first 4 minutes of this game, relatively dominant in possession. Masimla goes back across. Seems like there's a Cardiff player down and back play currently. Nice work over the ball from Reece Kerr, unable to get it though. But Labok inside border, Dan Duplessis. He's been busy throughout the first little while of this contest. Yeah, that player looks in some real discomfort here. He's just trying to roll out of the way. Oh, please don't run over him. Kits off. He's already down. I want to say it's Halaholo who might be down currently, but it might also be, actually, turn around a little bit, but I need to see your number. I think is it Ben Thomas? Who is it here? I think the knee went awkwardly when Marvin Henry and Ernest van Rennen both kind of flipped him over the top and go the Stormers, says Martin. And has playoffs started for the Women's World Cup yet? And the Rugby League World Cup started. So the Men's World Cup is currently 2 rounds in. They've actually got a game at the moment, New Zealand versus Jamaica. And then alongside that, the Women's World Cup quarterfinals next week is when it's going to be taking place. And there is a chance that we may see the women's game for the Black Ferns being played at the same time as the All Blacks play Japan. It seems like they haven't really thought through their overlaps that they may have found. Currently, Cardiff coach not looking too happy. It's like a little bit of a leg injury here for Halaholo. It looks like he's going to be possibly coming right off the field, unfortunately. He's got already heavy strapping on that right leg. I believe it's actually on his left leg that damage has been done. Okay. Sub is going to be made, and it will be the penalty in favour of Cardiff. But losing a player early on, definitely not what they had on their cards. The stage of the match. I should mention that the matchup taking place between New Zealand and Jamaica. Currently, New Zealand find themselves 4-0 up over the Jamaicans for the Rugby League World Cup. Halaholo just has to make his way off the field here. Won't be rushing it, though. Wants to make sure that he doesn't do any more severe damage to that leg. So Grady now out on the field. I'm late. Says that at this stage, you haven't missed too much. We've seen a couple Stormers attacks, and also alongside that, we have seen the injury of Halaholo. A beautiful morning in South Canterbury, so my spies tell me, says Sebastian. You have spies in South Canterbury? That's kind of impressive. Did they mention that it's supposed to be about 20 degrees Celsius today? It's actually supposed to be very warm, which is great news for us. I might actually have to make the most of it. I think George is coming around for a video filming session. I think that's early afternoon. So, yeah, after we finish that, maybe we could, I was going to say hit the town, but there's literally no town to hit here. So probably go somewhere to hit the town, but not literally hit the town. Probably just go to the park. 10 metres out from the line. Cardiff, that's going to be stolen by the Stormers, though. If you don't get that first initial clean out right, they just jump on the ball, lock over the body. And I think that time it was Nabakaba who was able to do just that. Whereas these matches happening, this one's happening in Cardiff. In Wales, I have got Cape Town Stadium behind me just because I really like the look of the stadium. And I felt like the blue skies were a bit of foreshadowing for what it's supposed to be like today for myself. Oh, that ball's just found touch. Marnie Labok. Now another player who really seems to be unlucky when it comes to Springbok selection. I don't know what that man's got to do. They say they have a fly half crisis, and you're leaving one of the best fly halves currently playing in South Africa out of that team. Go the Stormers. Says it there. Joseph Dwebber. This is the test. His line-out throw is normally not the best. That one's good, but unfortunately Marvin Orey's hands have let him down that time. So that, I hope, doesn't go against Joseph Dwebber for line-out time, because he did get the throw right, but he just didn't really find the hands of Orey the way he wanted. Now it's going to be kicked behind by Priestley. Waiting for that one. Clayton Blommakis able to clean it up. Rushes the offload, though, and it is going to become the knock-on in favour of Cardiff. Inside of the 22 currently. Fly back across from Thomas Williams using some big forwards. The referee almost getting involved in that one. Tom Young has a nice crack at the line. Kits off trying to get over it. Player losing his footing there as well. So it is going to be going back. Penalty in favour of Cardiff. And also, hi, why is it called Cardiff Rugby? And there as well says running stories. That's a good question. I know it used to be the Cardiff Blues. I'm not too sure why it's got Cardiff Rugby there. I think it's just taken what's on their logo. Because it's just an online scoreboard. What's the crowd numbers? Few empty seats, unfortunately. I would have liked to see a few more in attendance for this game, but I want to say somewhere around that 10,000 mark, although I'm not too sure how many the stadium holds. It looks like they're packed in like sardines on the far side, though, which is always good news. And hit the town in a civilized manner, not like GTA, says Sebastian. Exactly right. Because in GTA, although I'm probably the wrong person to ask about on GTA, because I normally drive pretty timidly around the streets of Los Santos. George, on the other hand, does not use the roads. He uses the footpath as his road. Now lining up this kick, it will be Priestland. And this will actually give the Cardiff Blues the 3-point lead. This point in the match, very nicely done. That one, oh no, that one's gone over the roof. Someone's going to have to go find that. That's going to be now 9.5 minutes through this game. It's been flying very quickly for this matchup, but sitting 3-0 in favour of the home side over the Stormers, which is, I guess you'd say, a little bit disappointing for the Stormers, mainly because they've had about 80% of the possession, 80% of the territory, but they haven't got the points on the board that they would have been after. It's going to be kicked off by Money Labok. So long, almost taken. I believe that was Lillian Zuss getting after it. Now Thomas Williams, no space at all to work with, but he's managed to keep it in the field of play, but it goes to that back three of the Stormers. Labok goes back across now to Hudsonberg with a nice step. He's gone straight through, accelerating as well. Beautiful inside pass to Labok. Now 20 metres out from the line, the Stormers slinging it to the left. Short ball to Marvin Ori. Every run at the moment's making at least 2 or 3 metres here for the Stormers. Post contact, it's going to be Kitsoff. Doesn't quite hang on to that ball, but Nabakaba able to clean it up after a Cardiff foot. Was able to kick it away slightly. Now going short side. Masimla goes off to Kitsoff, who's running like he's a back at the moment. Simla goes back across to the right. Stormers phase after phase. The only time that they have had a mistake at phase play is when they have dropped the ball. Well, that looks like it's going to be a rarity for them throughout this URC competition. Blomakis takes the contact. Now back across with the halfback. Gives it off to Mani Labok. Great low tackle made on him. Simla now decides to shift it left. Another carry for Nawakaba. It's been a very impressive feature in the Stormers loose forward trio. Currently 11 minutes through, 8 phases into this play now for the Stormers. Back across to Kitsoff. Tackled hard in the tackle. I believe that was Lewis Hughes, and the ball goes loose. The Blomakis is able to regather. Gives it off to Dan Duplessis. Now to Labok. Off to Ori. And they continue to go phase after phase here. Just in front of the 22 now. It's going to be Labok. Goes across to Diamani in open play. Just bumped off one tackle. Taken down low, though, by the Cardiff outside centre. They do have to release him. They're looking to get the advantage relatively soon, I would think, here, the Stormers. But so far, Cardiff been able to keep themselves on side. Ernest Van Reenen, he's tried to go for the offload, and it is going to be the knock-on kick downfield by Priestland. Really got some decent distance on that one, down to the 22. Now the Stormers will be kicking from inside of their own territory, back downfield from Clayton Blomaki, straight into the hands of the Cardiff fullback. Now looking for his own 50-22. It's curling slightly, but it's going to pull up 10 metres short of the Stormers line. I will read the chat in a very short moment, but it is currently been back and forth. Please tell me that ball's going out. It is, right. Well, that was a bit of a mouthful, wasn't it? And also what an atmosphere at the Aviva between Leinster and Munster. The Irish crowds never disappoint, exactly right. They always get well and truly behind their sides. And an Irish derby is just brilliant. Anytime it does take place, Leinster versus Munster. Leinster won 27-13. Why isn't this on Flow Rugby? Says Mo. Very good question. Flow Rugby seem to be a little bit picky and choosy with what games they actually show, unfortunately. And also, did you say George drives on the pavement? Are you going to report him? That's in GTA 5, not actually in real life, that I know of anyway. And also, Hamish, where do you film your vlog videos with George? Near your home or special area? Says coding there. I mean, we haven't done too many vlogs in the past, but if you're talking about the Kiwi Lads gaming ones, that was actually just in the backyard that we did that Soda Stream video. That's going to be another knock-on from the Stormers. Unfortunately, their handling has let them down. That is the third time we've seen the ball dropped. And why, if they have the ball, wants to kick it away, says Running Stories. It depends on where you're on the field or where you are on the field, but sometimes a territory game can be just as effective as a running game. Because if you can trap your opposition inside of their own half, sometimes it doesn't work out, definitely if your opposition is the Stormers, who are normally quite good at running the ball back. But if you do get it right early on in the game and you start to really drive them back into their own half, then that's where, when you get the penalties and the breakdown, you can start taking the threes. When you start to get that momentum flowing, then you can go on and get yourself quite a few extra attacking plays. It's just more of a long game strategy rather than just a short, like, we've just kicked it, we expect that should work type thing. Unless you go for the 50-22, then it can be a little bit of a different story there. Only 13 minutes through, a high-tempo game between these two sides. I hope my voice will be lasting by the end of it. The position at the moment, 64% in Stormers' favour at the moment. Like they're saying, a few last-minute changes actually made for Cardiff throughout this matchup. And where is that other man that does the rugby too? I don't see him, says Lawrence. The other man that does the rugby. Is in like the YouTube rugby, or the other man is in like George, who normally sits next to me? Lawrence, do let me know. Currently 13 points. Sorry, not 13 points. 13 minutes through this one. And 3 points in favour of Cardiff. Mike Adamson just trying to get a bit of control at the scrum. This is going to be a big push because we haven't actually seen a scrum as of yet. Even though there have been a few handling errors, none of them have been, I guess, significant enough to go back for the initial little bit of a drop ball. Only 13 and a half minutes through. I hope we don't have 50 resets in this game. That is one goal that I have got for this matchup. The pack weights both well and truly over the 900 kg mark. 934 for Cardiff, 920 for the Stormers here. And Mike Adamson, what a muffet. Sebastian in there as well. Yeah, he's still remembered for that Wales game, isn't he? And also we have got that England beat New Zealand in the Autumn International. Same as where you cut off your ponytail. Probably not, to be fair. It's taken like 4 years to grow it this long. Still don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I feel like chopping it off now may be a bit of a waste. We're on the Guru. Yeah, Johan. I think I talked to him a few weeks ago when we did our video on the channel, but I know he was saying about how his internet plays up a little bit. So I don't know whether or not it's still his internet, because I think he actually did the game last night, if I'm not wrong, between Benetton and the Bulls. So maybe the Wi-Fi worked for a little bit and then it decided to cut back out. But we're hoping to actually do our Springbok prediction series on the channel relatively soon. So hopefully that goes smoothly Wi-Fi-wise. And we at it again. Welcome, everyone. And whereas the sponsors test their products to make sure you don't lose your voice, says Running Stories. It's a good question. I haven't heard from anyone in terms of the non-voice losing sponsors. Normally we just get sponsored by ball trimmers and whatnot. True story. Now, Reece Priestland will be lining up this kick. 39 metres out. Should be a relatively safe kick here for Cardiff again. And slots it over. 6-0 now in favour of the home side. So these 3 pointers, they will continue to add up. If the Stormers don't find a way of stopping those 3 pointers, they could find themselves sitting about 12-0 down within the next 15 minutes or so. Speaking of being about 12-0 down, New Zealand over Jamaica in the Rugby League World Cup, currently leading 14 points to 0 at this point in time. But Cardiff, 15 minutes in, getting themselves a nice 6-0 lead. Marty Lebok, couple deep breaths taken, and he has booted it downfield. Nicely taken, though, just outside of the 22 for Rory Thornton. Cardiff, once again, a counter attack. I'd have to say that was close to a penalty against Joseph Dweber for just flopping through the middle like he was some sort of salmon. Now Thomas Williams going to be rolling it back. And he will be going for the box kick. Tried to charge it down was Marvin Ori. Didn't quite get onto it. Now going for Blomakis. He has knocked the ball on, taken nicely by Dylan Lewis. Now another advantage goes the way of Cardiff. Priestland looks to kick it downfield. Putting it high and looking for the 50-22. Actually, who's that? It's going to be the Cardiff winger who's just got his hands on the ball, Theo Kabungo. Where did he come from? I thought that it was a Stormers player going back to try and stop it from becoming a 50-22. He must have been lightning quick. And you are good, keep up the good job. There's Lawrence there. Do appreciate that a lot, mate. Theo Kabungo gets himself his 4th career try. We're going to need a wide angle with this one. And 11-0 says Running Stories. It certainly is. Cardiff looking extremely dangerous throughout the early stages of this one. And also we've got there Marlon in the chat as well. Welcome in, mate. Try for the Cardiff boys. Says Sebastian. Right. They're going to check this one. We need a really, really wide angle. So he kicks it. Jeez, he's quick. Kabungo, it's just impressive. They don't have a camera wide enough to see if he's onside. We're going to need one from the other side of the field, but I don't think they actually have an angle. Okay. So from the camera angles that they've got, they can't confirm whether or not he is onside. So I believe that then goes to the touch judge. He was onside, and the try is good. What a try it was down the wing as well for Kabungo. Now the Stormers find themselves sitting 11 points down. Kick to come here from Priestland. Just curls away to the left, hits the post. And that will be an unsuccessful conversion. 11-0 though to the Cardiff Blues. Brilliant start to the match for this home side. We need a video recording from one of the fans, says Sebastian. It does kind of surprise me though in a way that they would only put cameras on one side of the field. Like, I get it's the main broadcast angle, but like in terms of corner flags and whatnot, normally they do have that other one just to check in. But I assume like maybe we just didn't get to see the angle that they saw because they were pretty quick to go, yep, it's all right. Kicked off long. Cardiff taking it again nicely. Time it's going to be the big number 8, James Ratty. That ball's going to be dropped, or is it? No, Cardiff have been able to clean it up. Thought that it might have been a knock-on the ground. And also, why isn't Josh playing? Josh in the video, I assume it is due to injury, more than likely, or maybe resting him. Not too sure, though. I feel like if he was match fit, surely he'd be out there. Definitely up against a side like the Stormers, who are one of the top contenders in the URC. But, yeah, maybe they have decided that they do want to either rest him or a little bit of an injury there. But I want to see him back in action. I feel like he's going to be there in the internationals during November, so maybe that could also be why they've decided to give him a rest in this game. Joseph Dweber going to be throwing this one in for the Stormers. About to throw it in. There we go. Nice straight throw from Joseph Dweber. He must have been working on them throughout the week. And offside, no, bro. All the players were on the field. Are you going to award the try, bro? Sebastian. It's Kitsoff playing. He certainly is. So it's Kitsoff and Franz Malharba in the front row. In fact, if you count Joseph Dweber as a Springbok, they've got an all-Bok front row for the Stormers in this matchup. It's going to be the penalty going the way of the Stormers, though, not rolling away quick enough there. Reece Kerr, the man who has been penalised. So both sides, 3 penalties apiece. Marnie Lebok, once again, will be kicking it down towards the corner. This one's going to be about 15 metres out. Still definitely enough potential with this fallback of the Stormers to be able to go for that rolling maul. Yeah, tries to get out of there, but to get trapped in there. Right. Joseph Dweber, he's currently on a bit of a roll with the straight lineouts. Can he continue it? To throw it in, he's taking his time. All the arms, well, his arms will probably have no blood left in them now, but that's going to work out. Gone straight to Marvin Ori. And now the rolling maul commences for the Stormers. This isn't really a rolling maul. This is a running maul, and it's the try for the Stormers there. Underneath it, it was Nabakaba who does score himself the try, now making the score 11 points to 5. Very nicely done by the Stormers of their rolling maul. Who do you think will win the World Cup? There are quite a few contenders at the moment for that World Cup. I'd say because it's in France, France have got to be right up there, definitely with the winning streak they've found themselves on in recent times. I'd like to think that the defending champs, South Africa, would also have a decent crack. New Zealand, if they can find some form, should be up there also. Then you've got England, who are really a side you can't rule out. It's going to be interesting, but I feel like one of those 4 teams, but then Ireland are also, I wouldn't say that Ireland are completely out of the running, or Australia there, probably injuries might be a little bit too much for them to be able to have a chance. Yeah, one of about those 5 teams that I've listed now, I believe 4 of them are actually all on the same side of the draw. So at this stage of the semi-finals, we're only going to see 2 of those sides left in the competition. Marnie Lebok going to be lining up this kick from the touchline. 22 minutes into this game, it's been flying by, and we've already seen a total of 18 points on the board. So that kick has gone over from Lebok, making it 11 points to 7. Argentina is also good. That is a good point. Argentina are an up-and-coming side at the moment. And was over from Lebok, like I mentioned. Seems dangerous having windows behind the kicking posts, but I guess they must be relatively sturdy and used to getting hit in the face. Well, if windows have a face, I guess they've got a front and a back, don't they? Yeah, the windows must be used to getting smacked by a rugby ball every once in a while. It's kicked off by Cardiff. Get us back underway. It looks like it's going relatively high. Great take from Dan Duplessis. Had the pressure on him. I believe that time it was from just Jason Harris. Wasn't able to take it the way he did want. Diamani, nice carry forward for the Stormers. And now Godlim the similar. And be rolling back looking for the box kick. Goes high with it. He is the starting halfback. They have got Paul DeVette off the bench. No sign of Herschel Youngkies And this matchup, nice back though from Cardiff, now sitting on the halfway line. He's throwing some big men forward. It becomes the penalty. Hey, there's a man without a kit on at the moment. I think that's Marvin O'Ree. He's wearing a thermal, the colour of a Springbok kit. Is that a little bit of, I guess you could say, sneaky messaging to the coaches saying, I've already got me thermal on, I'm ready to go for the box? Going to be a high tackle against the Stormers there. Have the rear artifact exhibition behind the post, says Sebastian. And there's, I feel like there's actually, I wonder if they've ever done that for a rugby game, because I know that in the Cricket World Cup last year, I believe it was, they had that KFC bucket, how if they hit the bucket, then a student would get a sponsorship. And originally they were like, you've got to hit the bucket on the full. And they'd always put it in the stupidest areas where no one was hitting it on the full. But then they changed it so that it was just like each 6 was going to be a scholarship or something along those lines. How is the sub for the Stormers? Says Johannes. We will go like this and like this as well. That is the bench that they have got. But now it's going to be a line break for Diamani. Channeling his inner Ian Evan Ruiz, but he has dropped that ball. Cardiff under a lot of pressure here, going short side, trying to hang on to this one. They have done well, though, to regather. They're going to be going back for the initial penalty. Sorry, the initial knock-on. I back Belgium to walk away with the honours. There's Jacobus. And there as well. Yeah, a couple good players coming off the bench for both of these sides. JJ Kutza. Now, so far, Joseph Weber's line-out throw has been actually pretty impressive, so they won't look to use that change that early. Tamani's going to be a good one for Cardiff off the bench later on. Brady's actually already out on the park. That is due to the injury we saw of Halaholo, who is now no longer out there on the field. Also, Junior Pokomela, another player to have a quick look at off that bench. Looking at the way that the table sits, though, as you can see, these two sides, the Stormers in 4th, Cardiff in 8th. Whoever wins this game leapfrogs themselves at least one position, if not 2, depending on what the differential could be. Or if you're Cardiff and you win this game, they could find themselves moving all the way up to 4th if they can get this one completely right. It will be a tough task up against the Stormers side, who have now got themselves one try also in this first half of rugby. Thomas Williams feeds the ball in for Cardiff. Currently sitting on their own 22 on the top side of the field. A lot of pressure there on the number 8. Ratty, it looks like. So going to be just available, though, for Cardiff to try and clear their lines, although first they use a couple more hit-ups. That was a big yawn for an 8 a.m. moment in the morning. Great win for Leinster, says Luke. Yeah, they did very well on the IPL. We no one could hit the Tata car, let alone the bloody bucket in the BBL, says Sebastian there. I feel like they don't really think it through, because if anything, in nowadays, everyone wants it to be easier to win, if that makes sense. In terms of like hitting a random bucket around the ground, the fact that the bucket moved like around every once in a while, I think just made people more angry, because they're like, it's like a claw machine. This thing's like rigged. But yeah, I'd like to see, or like stick a random bottle up on top of one of the posts, you know, and just say, like, if someone hits this random bottle or hits a random like buzzer on the side of the post or something, then something happens just for fun. And also, how's Donna keeping? She keeping well. Did have a nice day yesterday, sitting out in the sun. We also did a little bit of the Women's World Cup, which was a lot of fun. The Black Ferns getting themselves a good win over Scotland. Now Marnie Lebok tries to pierce a gap. Another good tackle made on him by Dylan Lewis, though. Masimla goes back across the front. Malharba, one of the first carries we're seeing from the big tight head prop, who will definitely be in a Springbok kit this November. Joseph Weber, little bit more of a question of whether he will be in a Springbok kit. Now, Clayton Blomekes, he almost found that ball on the inside. It's going to be a deliberate knock-on against Cardiff, though. But first of all, Marnie Lebok going for the cross kick, hoping for the good bounce. And Lillian Zuss gets it exactly the way he wanted it. And there will be the try for Lillian Zuss. Scores it for the Stormers, and they will now take the lead. And from where are you, says Johannes, I am from New Zealand, so I'm currently in the South Island. And it's actually supposed to be quite a nice day today. It's currently only 6 degrees, but it's supposed to get to a high of like 22, which will be weird for ourselves. But that is going to be a very nice kick from Marnie Lebok. Clayton Blomekes, he went for the pass, did end up hitting that Cardiff player's hand. I believe it was Rory Thornton. And then Lebok, with advantage, decided to go for the kick in behind, and it just set up beautifully for Lillian Zuss. Was able to run it in and score the try. Leka Stormers. And there as well, three girls in your city. or in U City. Ah, shame on you. I live in a town. Oh, get blocked. No, he is blocked now, unfortunately for him, but also we get the nice Stormers, says Andrew. Let's go Stormers, says Wallace. And I also have it at deep fine leagues, so players can attempt the ramp shot more often. It's an idea. And also Moy Stormers and Leka Stormers. Yes, Johannes, who you got for France versus South Africa. That's going to be a tough game to predict. But I think it's going to be easier to predict after we see Ireland versus South Africa. We're going to get to see how they start to play in the Northern Hemisphere. The box, they should be all right, but Ireland are looking good lately. You definitely cannot underestimate them, not in the Northern Hemisphere anyway. And I think Ireland actually have a pretty good record up against the Springboks as of lately. And morning average, brother, how are you, mate? Here all cool, says Betty V. I'm doing very well, mate. Been enjoying a lot of the World Cups that are going on. We've got the Women's World Cup, the Cricket World Cup, the Rugby League World Cup, all taking place at the same time. I believe the FIFA World Cup just around the corner. It's raining here in Brisbane. See the running stories. It must also be an early morning start for you in Brisbane as well. Nice work. Finding the ball out to Kabungo, who's already scored himself one try in this contest after being an explosive pacer down the wing. Going to be a penalty for not rolling away against Hudson-Berg. And now Cardiff will be able to kick this one a bit further down the field. Currently 11 points to 14. Pretty high scoring first half. Between these two sides, 5 a.m. There's running stories. And go the Stormers go. And well done to the moderator, Samish, for keeping out bad messages that we do not want on the Kiwi lads. Here's Darren Smith as well. Now going to be the line-out throw for Dacey. And load shedding in South Africa can't watch the match. It's a shame when load shedding comes around, isn't it? I really hope that no one has load shedding, but I know that someone will end up having it, unfortunately, when the Springboks play Ireland and when the Springboks play France. So, yeah, we will definitely be live for both of those matches on the channel if there are any technical difficulties. I just hope we don't also have technical difficulties. Now, I'm so disappointed the Shark game was cancelled, says Andrew. Yeah, it's a shame. Ulster versus Sharks was certainly going to be a good matchup. Now we just have to wait a bit longer before we do get to see it. 10 metres out from the line at the moment. Cardiff are hot on attack, trying to break through the Stormers' defence for the second time of the contest. They'll be looking for an advantage if they can get it. The Stormers normally not too bad with the discipline and the breakdown when they are inside of their own 22, although Kitsov has just jumped in, tried to get over the ball, unable to do so. Another big run from Dacey. It's close. That's the penalty for the Stormers. And brilliantly done from Nabakaba. And also, what's the bet? It will be rescheduled for when we don't have a Bok available, says Andrew. Probably highly likely, unfortunately, for the reschedule. It will just be whenever they can try and squeeze it in, even if it's a midweek game. They'll just try and get it done so that they don't get too far behind. It's 9 p.m. in South Africa, says Luke there. So, yeah, currently a later evening game for you guys on the Saturday night. Downfield from Mani Lebok. He hasn't found touch, though. That is twice so far throughout the contest that we have seen a missed kicking opportunity from the Stormers. Number 10. Now Thomas Williams goes across to Lewis. Low tackle made on him by Marvin Ori. Back across Williams once again getting involved. Seems like there's going to be some big contacts in that midfield. It seems like the Stormers definitely, with that first man getting to the breakdown, that's where they're trying to get the turnover. Now, nice pass on the outside to Harries. He's got the man with him instead, just tries to drive straight through the challenge of Clayton Blomakis. Thomas Williams. I think they were asking for the offside penalty in favour of Cardiff, but they do not receive it. Now, Williams goes back across now to Priestland, getting involved in the middle of the field. Dacey. Williams goes back again. Cardiff really looking strong here throughout these phases, but all it takes is one breakdown for the Stormers to be able to get themselves a turnover. Dylan Lewis takes contact there, currently 40 metres out from the Stormers line, almost stolen, and they're from Andre Smith. Back across, I believe Cardiff, they were down to only 14 men for half a second there when Dacey did stay down. He's back up to his feet now. Another big bit of contact. Joseph Dweber tried to get the turnover. Williams goes back across. Now it's going to be Shane Lewis-Hughes. 11 phases. They're 40 metres out. They're complaining that there might have been an offside. Cardiff really getting behind their home side here. Bromakis takes it. Did he mark it, though? I don't think he did. And if he didn't mark it, that's a massive mistake because that will be a line-out throw in favour of Cardiff. I think now Bromakis is saying, I said that I wanted to mark it. Referee on the touchline says I didn't hear anything. So It is actually going to be a Cardiff line-out. Right, we're going to have to check this one in the replay. And who's your favourite wing? Oh, in the world or just in these two sides? Do let me know. I like you, but I don't like the Aussies. Says Ryan in there. That is good news then. I am from New Zealand, so, so we're all right for now. But on the side of selfishness, more free girls for oi oi, says Sebastian. And also, Hamish only tuned in now. Looks like close score when the Stormers play well. They're hard to beat. They certainly are the defending champs, right? They're just going to be looking through at this tackle. Oh, yeah, a little bit of head-on-head between Diamani and Dacey. You can understand why he stayed down. Who was the ref for this game? It is Mike Adamson of Wales. Wait, is he Welsh? Because if he's Welsh, a Welsh team are actually also playing. Or is he Scottish? He might be Scottish. Actually, favourite wing in the wing in the world. That is a tough one. There are a lot of wings in the world. Wing in the world, that's hard. I mean, I like Makazole Mapimpi just because of the work rate of the man. Ooh, okay, they're going to be checking this one. The Cardiff locals are saying it should be at least a yellow card, but I think they might just keep it at a penalty. Well, there's one of mine is Colby, and Gio Applin is better. And there's his Young Big Dreams, and also ref is Andrea Piatti, isn't it? Italian. Or head referee in charge of this one, Mike Adamson. Maybe is an Italian on the assistant referee. Amani should be Springbok. Says 123 MS and Chisel and Colby, says AJ. And also go the Stormers, go win this game. A favourite player, says Ethan. Their favourite player it was Artie Savia, so I feel like I'll still go with him. It is actually going to be a yellow card. Right. Number 8 gets the yellow card. I don't actually have my refereeing cards with me, so I don't have a yellow. I've got a yellow guitar. We could hold that up. There you go. Yellow card that's kind of see-through. That is what Diamani's seen, just not in guitar form. What about Valumza? And there says Russell. Damien Valumza, are we talking for this game or just in general? Because he is selected in the Springboks, I believe, if I'm not wrong. You are very smooth on the like the South African says, running stories. And Welsh refs are Welsh ref interesting. Says Ashley there, and Valumza isn't in the wing. Says Johannes van Seel. As well, so 33 minutes through, it looks like Cardiff are going to be looking to equalise here, get it back to 14 apiece. Yes, the TMO ref maybe. I'll be Mike Adamson as the ref. Says, and well, Sebastian very excited for the future of New Zealand rugby after watching today's NBC final. Says Christian, yeah, good game between Canterbury and Wellington, and the underdogs got the job done. Artie's massive image. I imagine him in the box pack, says Ashley. And also remember when Jonah Lomu played for Cardiff Rugby, says Nate. And there's, oh, geez, that would have been a little while ago, wouldn't it? And that kick has gone over, so it's going to make the score once again 14-14. They'll be having slight flashbacks to a couple of weeks ago for the Stormers. They have had a draw. They won't want any more throughout this competition, that is for sure. But the moment after 34 minutes, just sitting 14-all, Colby it is. Says Russell in there, and also Valumza can play the wing, says 123 MS, or is Ivan Ruiz a number 8? He is not. At this stage, they decided to rest him for this game. I think he's also been left out of the Springboks training squad, hasn't he? For Ivan Ruiz. Nicely taken there by the big man Thornton, and also Bok have to take Hinko van Viek on the end of year tour, says Andrew, and Colby for sure, says Salos, and keep the penalties down to a minimum. I don't give easy points to Cardiff, love yellow guitar, says Roof, and the Stormers, says Arnold. All right, rolling it back here, Thomas Williams will be looking to put this ball up high from inside of his own 22, getting plenty of meterage on it. And it does go down into touch. Right. There's a lot of pointing coming from Clayton Blomekes. Not too sure what he was asking about. He's still talking to Dan Duplessis, though, so I think he might have seen something that no one else saw. And John Olomu played 10 games for Cardiff, scored only 1 try. Probably is the best wing ever, and Roscoe Spickman. As I said, Stanley, extremely speedy individual Spickman is. And Valumza can play wing, but shouldn't, says Johannes there. Now it's going to be Joseph Weber with this line-out throw. 5 minutes left in the first half, and not a point to split these two sides. It's going to be relatively straight from Joseph Weber, or straight enough anyway, for the number 2. Now rolling forward. Has the ball off the back. Masimla is waiting for it. Now receives it. Goes back. A little bit of a set play here. Lillian Suss able to bump off one or two tackle attempts. Joseph Dweber, that was just a very inexperienced move from that man. He looked back at the referee with his arms in the air saying, is that a penalty for not rolling away? Gets cleaned out. And now the ball has been turned over by Cardiff. So, yeah, big mistake there from Joseph Dweber. The man's already had enough at line-out time, let alone anywhere else out there on the field. Now Cardiff going for the counter-attack. It's going to be a good foot race here. And Kabungo trying to cut it off. Nice ball out to Hudsonberg. And Diamani dips at the hip and the knees. There's Braystar there. Yeah, he did get a yellow card, which I thought was... It's always one of those ones you never know whether the ref's going to give it as just a penalty or a yellow. Like, it just depends on who the TMO is a little bit. No, Josh Adams not in this game. He is currently missing as well. And Stormathol says Gershon there. And also, yes, just the one try. And yes, Evan Rose is withdrawn from the Springbok squad, says Johannes there. Now, they have been told to use it once again. Joseph Dweber. Tackled, I should say, by Thomas Young. Now, Masimla looking for the box. Both of these sides very even throughout this first 36 minutes of rugby. Right in the Northern Hemisphere, that's going to be a little bit of shepherding maybe from Darcy, but he's going to get away with it. Cardiff now back in possession. Thomas Williams goes across to Thomas Young. All the Thomases working together. How many Thomases we got? Just the two by the looks of it, spelt differently. Now, speaking of the other Thomas Williams, about to put the ball up high. And what do you think about Joseph Dweber? I don't see him as box material at this stage. That's going to be a mistake from Clayton Bromwich. But they have said that it's gone backwards. Great work in there from Cardiff. It's a clean turnover as well. And now they'll have themselves one last attack perhaps for the end of the half. It's going to be kicked in behind, chasing it hard here. It's just going to curl into touch. But 5 meters out from the Stormers line. Good field territory done there by the Cardiff boys. So I would say Joseph Dweber, unfortunately, he hasn't quite delivered yet. And it seems to be still that he's struggling to deliver at this level. Like, if I had to pick between Joseph Dweber or Johan Robela as who I would have as a Springbok option, I'd probably go Robela. But I don't know whether or not they will look at it. Anyway, come on, sponsor, send our commentator some snacks and something to make sure he didn't lose his voice. Says running stories. And also a question for my Bok friends. Is it safe to have a holiday in South Africa? Says Darren there. And thinks Jonah was going into retirement. Cardiff offered him a contract for one. Says it was there from Nate. And how many games did Habana play and how many tries did he score in his career? Those are some very good questions, Russell. I'm sure the Springbok supporters will be able to answer for you. South Africa Stormers says good to Sean. And your favourite captain in the world? Oh, geez, we're getting some good questions today. Favourite captain? Well, it's probably not the All Blacks, Sam Cane. I'd say that much. I'm actually, in a weird way, I'm going to say Michael Hooper for Australia because Australia has been in shambles for a long time. Oh, that's terrible from Dweber. That's about as not straight as it can get. I don't know who he's complaining to. He should be looking down at his hands, blaming them, because that was an absolutely shocking throw. And now Cardiff have got themselves a 5-meter scrum. And also, Dweber is where physically only need to up and sort out his line-out throw, says Ashley. And right on cue, he has absolutely butchered that one. Now the scrum feed goes the way of Cardiff. Depends where you go, Darren. And Athlone, not so much. But Clifton, sure, you'll be safe, says Salios there as well. Hopefully I said that correctly. And also, Dweber has been shocking this season so far. Yeah, he just hasn't really been doing too well, unfortunately. And Dweber must go, says Johannes. And John Smith, says Stanley in the chat as well. 1 minute and a half left. Cardiff, this was pretty much a gifted opportunity for them. Definitely because the Stormers are still playing with 14 men on the field. So the last thing that they wanted was to have to try and defend while only being 5 meters out. And I'll say, yeah, it's always safe in Cape Town, says Russell. And there as well. But Thomas Williams about to feed this ball in for Cardiff. Will we see another try scored throughout this first half and drawing with Cardiff? Well, says Wamba there. Thomas Williams puts the ball almost in, but the front row's gone down, so we're going to have another scrum reset between the two sides. So you'd have to say the Stormers should have advantage at scrum time with Kipsov, Franz Malharba, and Joseph Dweber all in the front row against Kia, Dacey, and Lewis. As the Cardiff front row, when staying in South Africa, you need to be on your guard and don't be naive. Take common sense precautions. says Christian there. And was Kleber this poor in France? Oh, I think he was a bit rough at times. I don't think he was the first choice hooker, though, which really made it easier for him, I guess. Your favourite rugby stadium to play at if you were playing rugby, says Luke. I would say probably, I mean, I'd love to play at the Aviva in Ireland just because it seems to be a stadium where everyone always gets behind their side. Cape Town Stadium, I got it behind me at the moment. And also my name says it all with Guard there. Now they have been able to clean that one up. Just Cardiff. 10 seconds left of this first half. Stormers looking for the turnover, but first of all, Cardiff want to get themselves another try. I've just got the 1 throughout the first half. You need 4 for the bonus point. And the Stormers, they have got themselves the 2 at this point of the match. Thomas Young taken down low. Now looking off to the right-hand side, going to be another good carry from Rory Thornton. 22 metres out. They have been driven backwards about 20 or so metres. They're going for a drop kick here. It's an interesting choice. It's hit the post. It's bounced back out into the field of play. Romikis is going to be able to jump on it, put it down, and that's half time. I don't understand that from Cardiff. I really don't. They had the man advantage. They also have been looking dangerous on attack. I feel like that relieves so much pressure from the Stormers there. And all cities in the world have no-go zones, I guess, but it's pretty safe in the Cape. And Ellis Park, says Andrew there. And why does the Stormers have a yellow card and which player? So it was in the end Diamani who got himself the yellow card. So it was a ducking tackle, but they did say he didn't bend enough. So it was head-on-head contact for a yellow. And Stormers are in it to win it. Says it was, now, you've actually got the same name as the number 13 for Cardiff. And I don't remember how to pronounce it. Is it Llewellyn? Llewellyn? Is that correct or is that well and truly wrong? I do really apologise if I've got that wrong. And yeah, do correct me if it is well and truly off. And drawing with Cardiff well. And replaced Weber now, says Johan a little bit earlier on. Watch the Stormers second half. Says Llewellyn. Maybe? I feel like that was bad pronunciation again. Llewellyn. Okay, I'll try my best to remember that. Llewellyn. Currently, New Zealand at halftime in their game up against Jamaica in the Rugby League World Cup. They are sitting 34-0 for anyone curious. That one, Llewellyn, and as well from Salos. Currently, an interesting first half, though. 14-all. Both sides having their moments. The Stormers, they were looking like the more aggressive side early on, doing some good attacks, but the penalty count did go against them at the start, which caused Cardiff to get themselves a 6-0 lead. Then from there, the fire back started going for the Stormers after, of course, that brilliant try scored out on the wing by Theo Kabungo. He just chased it so hard. I thought it was actually a Stormers player getting back to try and stop it from going for the 50-22, but it was, in the end, very dangerous man, which was Kabungo chasing it. Who do you think should start for the Springboks number 10 at the end of year tour? I feel like I'd go Damian Valimza if it was up to me, mainly because, he didn't really do too much wrong at fly half. He just got injured, unfortunately, which did mean that it was tricky for him. Andre Pollard, I don't know whether or not he's going to be back in time. Is he? I know they haven't got Lucanio arm anyway. So if Pollard's back, maybe they'll go Pollard and Valimza at 15. But if not, I think Damian Valimza would be a decent option as the fly half, just because if you need a reshuffle, you can kind of, I guess, put him back to 15. Or in the centres, you're doing okay pronouncing those names. It's not easy. Stormers great on the counter-attack, says Ruth. And Kutsia, you're right. He needs a bit more game time to sort out his messy line-outs. Rassi should look at appointing an attacking coach, says Ashley. And there as well, they are just showing the highlights of some of the brilliant play we saw throughout the first half. It was nice work from the Stormers to get themselves their 2 tries. First of all was the try of Lelian Zas. In fact, sorry, that was the second try. We did see Nabakaba score just before. I think it must be Marnie Labok, says Russell, although it just seems like they're not giving Labok the chance. The only reason I didn't mention him was because anytime they have any type of training camp or any type of opportunity open up, they seem to just ignore him. They don't want to go with him. In a weird way, I think they'll go with Chris Smith before they go with Marnie Labok, which sounds really bad because Marnie Labok definitely should get a chance, but he just doesn't seem to. Unfortunately, the only man who can do it for the Boks, you're right, Russell, says it was Lulelan. Yeah, Maori, sorry, your pronunciation of other cultures, names, Pacific Island, Maori, South African, etc. Bloody good man, straight up. I've seen some other channels that turns into a comedy show when they pronounce, says Nazi Williams. But yeah, Takes a lot of practice getting the tongue in the right place. Johan Hulsen fly half, another option that they could go with in the future. One moment, ladies and gentlemen, we will go like this. You know it's going to be a nice day when I get hay fever. So that's good news. Damien Valimza all the way to start at 10, although Franz Stein, if he's not injured, says Lewis. And Franz Stein to start at fly half, says Running Stories. And also we have got their money block for block number 10. And needs to be more consistent with his goal kicking. And Franz Stein must stay far away, says Johannes. And there as well. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Marnie Lebok seems to me a little bit similar to Ivan Roos. How it seems to be, he's right there, the public, he's the people's player. Everyone wants to see him. But it's almost as if the coaches go, because you all want to see him, we're not going to give you him because we're the boss. So we're going to try and leave him out as long as possible. Giamaro Aimkas says Nate, and also Big France fan, but is injured. I should shed some weight, says Ashley. And also we have got there in the chat, Stump Car Rugby from the box. Franstein starts. Says, I need to look back at the pronunciation. Luel Lan. I'm going to have to write that down, aren't I? And Ivan Roos says Lilo Lan. And there as well, they are just showing the highlights of Lelian Zas's try, though. He's actually, the thing is, for some reason, I always think Lelian Zas is smaller than he is. I think it's just because I've been that used to watching the flying wingers from South Africa. When you look at someone like an Edwil van der Merwe, all those guys, they're all quite small in stature, whereas Lelian Zas, he's a solid individual out on the wing. And say it like Llewellyn. That's close enough, and I agree. Says Johannes there, and Stormers to win 35 points to 14. Oh, okay, so you're not actually giving Cardiff any points in the second half. It's a bold call, but it would be possible. Springboks coaches don't like attacking fly halves. They play a kicking game, says Johannes. And there as well. And yeah, I guess that's why my comment about Chris Smith but his kicking's been appalling lately. He really enjoys kicking the ball back to the opposition, and I think that's something that will certainly cost him if he doesn't start to sort it out, because just those little mistakes of kicking the ball back to your opposition and then allowing them to run at you, it's just very tricky. Johannes, as well, says Johannes van Zyl. Apparently they are just having the halftime break, then we will be back underway for another 40 minutes of action. Zas deserves that Springbok start, and now you're right, Hamish does tremendous on the pronunciation. Says Nate, yeah, this is a very interesting match. Watching it myself, says Ollie. And yeah, anyone else who does want to watch it, if you are in New Zealand, it is on Spark Sport, ladies and gentlemen. So that is a good option to be able to watch these games. Sometimes they show up. Other times, if it's like the game between Munster and Leinster, sadly, we didn't actually get to see it. I just realized I haven't done my honorary South African national anthem for this live stream. So that's probably something that we should do at halftime rather than when the match gets back underway. Let's see if we can first time bang it out of the park. I believe 90% of your live chats are South Africans or Namibians. I seems your big support the side of the ocean, says Ashley. Well, then they will certainly enjoy this then. There we go. That wasn't too bad. That one, I had a couple rough notes in there, but we got through it. If you're in Wales, it's on S4C, and Dweber is like the Elton Yankees of Hooker's ball performance again and again, with the promise of playing better next time. Trying to pick anyone else, says it's there. And tie at halftime, Stormers must come back and finish it, says Senso there. But Nainaba, I don't like the Stormers. Amen, says Salos. And there's currently they are playing Gloria at the ground, so a little bit of a throwback at Cardiff at the moment. Maybe tries coming soon be, and Senzo they will. And there as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the second half because both of the sides, they have something to gain from this match. The Stormers, 2 more tries gets them a bonus point, which is massive at this stage of the competition. The more bonus points you get, more likely you are to have a home final, and the Stormers will be looking to do just that. That is just the Scossa. But you were playing It Is. I unfortunately don't know the rest of it. At the stage, I only do the very start of the anthem. Who knows? Maybe eventually we could add another bit in there as well. But this is the way that the URC table sits currently, ladies and gentlemen. If Cardiff manage to get themselves the win, they have the potential of going all the way up to possibly about 5th if they do get this one right. Even drawing will get them relatively high up if they can manage to make the most of it. Whereas for the Stormers, if they get themselves the win here, in a way, they're still undefeated this season. Even though they have got the draw, they haven't lost a match yet. So they will be looking to continue their winning ways, and that will promote them up more than likely, sitting somewhere where Ulster are. Because I'd say if the Stormers win this game, they will get another 2 tries, which will give them the 5 points from the match. And with your guitar playing, you should be on the pyramid stage in Glastonbury, says Darren. And watch my team, the Stormers second half will end them. And also the question is, Bob the Builder, can he fix it? That's actually my dad's ringtone, as he is a builder, and he fixes a lot of things. I might need to have that as my ringtone soon, as I am part-time building outside of YouTube, doing a little bit of did you hear my knee just crack there? I'm pretty much doing a little bit of a part-time builder, part-time YouTube. And I guess the best way of describing it is my building is to fund the YouTube channel. That's going all right. My lag, that's good. Says Ashley, I watch my team, the Kiwis, says Porkbone. And there's, currently New Zealand Kiwis, they are winning up against Jamaica 34 points to 0. Who do you think will make the final of the Rugby World Cup, says Luke? I think it's a tricky one because only 2 of these sides can make it past the quarterfinals. New Zealand, Ireland, South Africa, and also France. So I'd say one of those 4 sides are going to be in the final on one side of the draw. I don't know whether they can – I think they can both make it in there slightly. I haven't really looked at the way that the draw works in terms of who's going up against who at the stages. And also your guitar skills are awesome. Thank you very much, Ruth. Do appreciate that a lot. And also Swing Low Sweet Chariot says Salos, and also Kiwis or Oz. I'm from New Zealand, so I'd have to go the Kiwis, but that's going to be a tough game if they have to play them in the Rugby League World Cup. Postman Pat is better than Bob the Builder. Thomas the Tank Engine is king, says Darren. I remember I used to have a Thomas the Tank Engine train set that you'd literally put a little couple drops of water into his, I was going to call it a spout, but I don't know what you call it. What's the part? The steam chute? And it'd chuck out steam. I don't know how it worked or how it was approved as a children's toy, but yeah, it'd just be a little Thomas the Tank Engine choo-choo train just spitting out steam pretty much. And I'm using a VPN watching the game, but my power just went out, so I'm here now. Says not every day. Coldest, welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing very well. And Rassi and Nangaba are both previous Stormers coaches. Surely they will love the Cape Townians, says Ashley. I've actually realised I've got Cape Town Stadium behind me as well. And it's quite a nice stadium, to be fair. Currently 8 degrees here in New Zealand. Hopefully it warms up a bit more. It's supposed to be about 22 degrees, I think, later on today. And whoever is a good cook must keep on cooking food and leave the rugby for real players, says Johannes. And there as well. Yeah, he's certainly not cooking up too much when it comes to the line-out department, is he? A lot of mistakes being made by that man. But, right. Here we go. Second half just about upon us, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're 14 all with 40 minutes to play now. He kicked off, nicely taken by the Stormers inside of their own 22. Money with Lock or Johan Hoosen. Oh, is that for the Springbok 10 jersey? That's a very tricky one because I'd be happy to see either of them in there, but it seems like those are the 2 who they just won't pick, sadly. I'm about to hit 1K subs. I've been growing a lot lately, says Ollie. So congratulations, mate. Hope you are doing very well on your YouTube journey. And also, mate, thank you, says Bianca there. And the best player in the world is Chislin Colby, says Rian. The Supersport should sell game by game, as well as the package, says 123 MS. And Crusaders coach should be the head coach for New Zealand, says Luke. So that would be Scott Robinson you are talking of. That one now, another carry from Jason Harris. That's going to be stolen beautifully by Nubba Cubba. That is about his 3rd or 4th turnover in the breakdown, Rian, I agree. And a gentleman too, the times I met him, says Salos. And who won the T20 cricket yesterday? New Zealand versus Australia, asking for a friend. It was in the end New Zealand able to get themselves the win by about 70 runs. Somewhere along those lines. Richard Webber needs to be moved to New Zealand and play Bunnings EBC. Next, Takiaho. See his name in there. And that's the thing, Takiaho, his line out. Wow, that was a terrible pass from the Bok. Ended up slipping straight out of his hands. Clayton Blomakis, he's done well to clean that up the way that he did. around the side of the breakdown. Currently, the Stormers under a lot of pressure, only just out from their own goal line. But yeah, Tokyo, his line-out throw went a long way in a 12-month period. And I feel like that's something that Joseph Weber needs to also work on. It's all well and good being a strong man out on the field, doing decently at scrum time. But if you can't throw the ball in straight, that's a huge problem to have. Scott Berger, one of the best Stormers and Springboks players from Cape Town, says Ruth, and Jason Ryan, be our next AB's coach. Here's Nate there. That's going to be a nice clearance from the Stormers. About 30 metres out for the line now. It is going to be the opportunity. Jeez, that's a brilliant tackle made. I believe it was Josh Turnbull able to make that tackle on Dan Duplessis. Right, Paul DeVet's actually already out on the field. That is for Masimla. And what time is it for you? So currently we are sitting 8:35 a.m. At this stage. Stephen Kitsoff looks like he's down for a little bit. Diamani also back from the bin. So it's all happening out there on the field. A lot of changes, a lot of injuries. Stephen Kitsoff's getting some water poured into his eyeball. Trying to cool down the head. It's just the hair colour. Don't worry, it's not on fire. 42 minutes through at the moment. Kitsoff, he has been on fire throughout the season. Also Springbok season, he's been looking very good. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do up against the Irish. He might be facing Tide Furlong in that one. And then alongside that, in France, who would he be versing in France? I'm trying to think of who they'd put at 3. My brain's gone completely blank. I know there's some big boys, though. Have you met any of the New Zealand players? Not current players, but ex-players. I have actually done a couple of interviews with Norm Maxwell. You know who that is. Was an ex-Crusader and an All Blacks player. Okay, says Kelly. And also, what did you have for breakfast? I haven't actually had breakfast yet. But I did end up having a banana at about 3 a.m. for our last live stream. 8:30 p.m. Says Eric there. And also Norm Maxwell. Says Nate. In there as well. Now nice. Gary Ford. 10 metres out from the line. Oh, sorry, 15 now for Cardiff. Go for a couple more attacking plays here, looking for the gap in the Stormers' backline. Rush defense. Great work from Hudsonberg. Drives them backwards. Cardiff doing well to protect this ball on the ground, though, because that is one of those aspects that they get right so often, the Stormers. Now it looks like Priestland's going to go for the cross kick. It's gone straight into the hands of Harries, who goes for the corner. And he's got the try. Cardiff take the lead again. At 40 for me. There's Ollie there. Brilliant work from the Cardiff Blues, and they will get themselves the first points of the second half. There's none other than the winger, Jason Harries. Got 13 in total. So we have actually seen both wingers score in this game for Cardiff. They are the only 2 tries, though, that we've seen from the Cardiff side. Just tells you how often they would like to use that backline, and both actually coming off kicks. Great work. Leighton Bloemekes, he tried to stop him. So did Mani Lebok, but it's just going to be too tough to stop him from only the 5 metres out. Go Cardiff Woo. There's Ollie there. Now the Stormers are going to be back under pressure. They've got to make sure that they don't fall asleep at the start of the second half. Still plenty of time to go. Ollie, where you from? Says I lost that. Let's go the Blues try. Says Nate. And there as well. Right. 44 minutes through. It's going to be a relatively tough kick for Priestland near the touchline. He's missed one today. Was a little bit of a tricky kick, but he did end up hitting the left hand upright. I feel like for some reason this kick's going to hit the right hand post, but maybe still go over. Oh, it got close, but it has curled round beautifully straight down the middle, and that's going to make the score now 21 points to 14 in favour of Cardiff. And well, good try. Stormers sleeping there for a minute. And Wales UK, says Ollie. And the chat as well. But yeah, Harry's down the wing. Very hard to stop. Oh, right. What foot you kick with? And says Salos. And then any other Europeans? And a few weeks ago, Cardiff Rugby players threw eggs at a pub during a team night out. It looks like it improved their playing skills. Says running stories. Interesting. At a pub. Did the pub kick them out or something? Or did they just not cook their eggs right or something? They want to come on the Stormers, says Christopher. And Stormers can't be done yet. But there's pressure. When to bring the bench in. Nice take from Bloemekes. And we've already seen that they have actually made the one sub. That was Masimla taken off the field. So they may not be too far off making another change. It's Cardiff have once again been able to get this ball back. And the breakdown, there's a kick of mine from Thomas Williams. Waiting for this ball to bounce. It's going to keep on rolling into the in-goal area. Put down by Mani Lebok. And now it will be the goal line dropout. It's almost 27 to 26. I thought it was Rangers, mate. Says Salos. there as well. Lomakisi did end up with that ball, and then it was just ripped away by Thomas Young as they were falling to the ground. Who do you think will win the URC? At this stage, I'm pretty much sold on a South African or an Irish team. I just haven't quite decided who my team is yet that I think is going to be able to go all the way. But the Stormers, they're going to be a tough side to beat. Don't know whether they're going to be able to make it 2 from 2. I feel like they may get unlucky in a playoff game this year. But it's hard to tell because there's so many sides all competing for that top-seeded spot and trying to get that home final. Leinster are going to be a tough side as well. That's going to be the penalty going the way of the Stormers there. Cardiff making a little mistake. Stormers are leaving late again. Says 123 MS. And Salos, are you talking waffles? What are you talking about? Well, you are talking waffles. Says Ollie. And there. And now it's going to be Marnie Lebock looking to kick it for the touchline. Both sides still waiting for another 2 tries. If they both get 2 tries minimum, both sides leaving this game with 1 point. There's another yawn. You keep Lebock off the ball. The back only can work with it in this mud. Says Eric. Oh, yeah, the 4G turf, a different atmosphere or a different type of playing, I guess you could say, for these players. At least I think it's 4G. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's cutting up too rough. I think it is that artificial turf. Right. So they've actually said that Edinburgh have leapfrogged Cardiff. So that means that they are actually sitting 9th. So this isn't the live table. I think I took it just before the Edinburgh game was over, which does mean that it is going to be a little bit wrong. But Leinster still at the top. They got themselves a win over Munster recently. The Bulls, they are still in 3rd. And then the Stormers, they are looking to go above them. That's going to be taken nicely by, I believe, there was Ernest van Reenen who did have that ball, but it could have also been one of the replacements off the bench for the Stormers. Like it's going to be rolling forward quite nicely. Franz Malharba and Kitsoff both working hard for the rolling ball. Paul Davet now off to Dan Duplessis. Good counter ruck. No, it wasn't. They get that one slightly wrong. Playing the halfback still too early to decide who wins the URC. There's the Champions Cup coming in December. That is also true. There's going to be some big games in there, my ignorance, but surely it's time for tight 8 power. Says it was there from Eric. Yeah, that's the thing. The Springboks, their bench is looking very strong. I would think that Willie Engelbrecht and Junior Pokomela might not be too far off. I would leave Naba Kaba on. He has been doing very well. Number 7, I believe, is Ernest van Reenen. I would take him off and either put Pokomela or Engelbrecht on just because I haven't really seen too much of him throughout the match. And then Diamani, he's been good at times, but I think, yeah, the bench might be the better option there. 1 to 3, I think you and also we get there. Lindsay will go far, says Ollie, and also why are you tired, says Rian. I think it's because we got up at 2 a.m. to do the first live stream that we did between Fiji and Italy. So it's currently sitting 8:43 a.m. So by the end of the day, I'm probably going to be yawning a bit. I'm not actually too tired, though. It just seems to be the reaction of staring at the light. As you can see, one side of my face is very well lit. That is because I've got a massive one of these just there. That's a great rolling ball for the Stormers. They're in for another try. A little bit of push and shove off the ball by the looks of it. They're going to be hands thrown, not quite. And this one seems like everyone's going to be relatively calm at this stage. It's going to be another try for the Stormers. That will move them up now to 19 points. Okay, so I think they want to check this one for off the ball. See what actually caused it. But the Lions are the dark horse this season, says 123 MS. Yeah, they've improved a lot this year, the Lions, compared to last year. Right, the try has been given. Just hasn't been given for my scoreboard yet. Okay, so there was a bit of a push and a shove between a Stormers player and a Cardiff player off the ball. They're trying to have a look at it, but I don't think they've got a wide enough angle. Here comes the Cape Wave. Salos. Tia Mo is what the Cardiff crowd are chanting. I think they're just hoping there's something that can cancel out this try. I think is the best way of describing it. I think both of them are in the wrong for their push and shove. Money Lebock doing a bit of a butt wiggle there for his is kicking. I didn't realise that was part of the technique. Question is, will it work? Or will he only do the butt wiggle once? Money in the box. Deep breath taken. 50 minutes through this game. Still another 30 to go. Could go either way. And that's missed. So he will not be butt wiggling anymore. When you start to yawn a lot, you can't stop. You might begin to worry. There's running stories. Yeah, it's only occasionally that we do end up having a random yawn. It's kind of like the sneezes. Now, sometimes in the morning, if it is a hay fever day, I'll just end up sneezing flat out throughout the live stream. I'm a Bull supporter, so it's fine if the Stormers lose. But I'm a South African, so go Stormers in small letters, says Richard. And there as well, yeah, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it? You want to see South African sides do well, but you don't want to see them do better than your side. So it makes it tricky. Imagine the scenes if it was all South African semi-finals of the URC. That would be massive. Well, I mean, URC will have another Bok champ. They lifted the quality last run. Some are better now, says Eric. Yeah, that is true. They're doing very nicely, although that's going to be a penalty in favour of Cardiff here now. A moment, we all go like this. Dylan Lewis did very well getting over the ball and winning the penalty for the Cardiff Blues. There we go. And also there's a Stormers sets Enzo, and anything win except for the Bulls. And Stormers don't let Cardiff pull too far ahead. Bit of argy-bargy there. Temp was flaring. And where is your channel shirt? Says Running Stories. Where is your channel shirt? As in, like, our merchandise? We haven't actually got any yet, believe it or not. So that might be something we look at in the future. I guess we didn't want to rush into it just because we are still very early in our YouTubing journey. We've only been doing this for about 2 years. So we probably haven't really looked into merch or anything like that. Channel share equals Everlast. That's actually, the thing is, probably not a bad, I guess you could call it a quote, because we do live streams throughout any stage of the night. That's going to go over, and now it's going to make the score 24 points to 19s. Like we've done in the last 2 years of live streaming, we've probably done about 1,000 to 1,500 live streams for matches. So we have done a lot of talking. Right, Lopeti Tamani now out on the field. This is going to be danger. Warning alert. Says Nazi Williams and rush into it, please. Says Eric there. Now, it's going to be the number 8 who has been replaced. Charging after this one. Cardiff taking it nicely. Thomas Williams looking to kick it downfield. Nicely taken by Clayton Blomakes. We're starting to hear the crowd get in behind them a little bit more. That was high, though. Going to become the penalty for the high shot. Don't think it's going to be anything more than just a high tackle penalty. And maybe I'll DHL you a Stormers jersey, mate. Says I lost there. See, that's the thing. I've always wanted to get the Super Rugby or URC like team kits, but I never know who to get first. So I did get a Chiefs kit sent to me. So that was one that made it, I guess, a bit easier to choose that one. Other than that, I'm still trying to decide. Like, I really like the Hurricanes 2022 kit. So I'll probably end up getting it next year. But yeah, there's some decent kits around. And you don't advertise Everlast unless they give you free shirts. There's Running Stories. Yeah, no, they don't, sadly, but that's all right. I got a couple hoodies from them. I got a bit of. I was about to say some more brands. I don't know whether I should be mentioning all these brands. I should try and get affiliate links first, shouldn't I? And thanks for this, mate. Our country is so pathetic. We can't even have electricity, even though we have the largest coal supply in the world. He's not your everyday cultist. And they're now going to be fired back across. The Stormers hot on attack, sitting 10 metres out from the line here. The ball comes free, though. And now back on the side of Cardiff, although Paul the vet fighting for it in the breakdown, not able to get it. Thomas Williams goes back, and that one's going to be kicked downfield. Stormers forever lasting, says Salos. And now as well, a relieving kick. Cardiff there. Stormers are starting to put on more pressure when it comes to the territory, though. It seems like the Stormers may only be a couple little plays away from a possible 4th try, and that will get them the bonus point. That's the big thing for them. Currently in the Kiwis versus Jamaica game as well, for anyone curious about the Rugby League World Cup, New Zealand are winning that game 46 points to 0. So a bit one-sided at the moment over the Jamaicans, although probably not as many points as people were expecting New Zealand to score up against Jamaica. A couple players staying down. That looks like an injury for one of the locks. Also, I believe that's Reece Keir, who may have bitten himself, which is never ideal. You don't really want to bite yourself or anyone else for that matter. They have decided to make the change. It is going to be Ben Jason Dixon now out on the field. Amish, do you know from which country are a majority of the Kiwi lads' loyal supporters? Says Darren. So I believe our main geographics is South Africa. I think that's our biggest geographic, actually, for our audience. So South Africa, New Zealand, Fiji, and also I think a bit of Australia and a couple other Pacific Island nations. I think are our kind of next ones. This ref needs to go to Speedsaver, says John. I also probably do need to go, because I can't see very well at the moment. So I might have to get an eye test relatively soon. I was trying to read a menu the other day. You know, when you're in like KFC or something and they have it all up on the board, I was sitting there going like this, just trying to read what it actually said. So I just made it up when I got there. I was like, I guess I'll have one of this and this and this and what's not. Mavanori. Now driving forward. It's probably lucky I can still, like, I guess because I'm sitting right here, I can read anything that I need to. The chat is another big testing one. Which team is tiring? I think the Stormers, I want to say that they seem to have a little bit of tiredness at one point, but it doesn't seem like it lasted very long. Well, I was like, probably Thailand, Cessa lost. And my grandmother's, or my mother's grandfather was Welsh, Jones. I think there were a few Jones playing for Wales a few years back. Why your channel name the Kiwi Lads? You were just one person. Get a lady to join you. Says running stories. So the Kiwi Lads is persisting of 4 individuals. That was 3. This is me off to the side. But it is myself. It is George, who you guys will see actually in a video later on today on the channel when we play Samoa versus Greece. That one is scheduled, and it just needs to go up on the channel. Then there's also Daniel, and there's also Isaac. So the reason it's the Kiwi Lads is because when it's a decent hour of the day, I sometimes have a guest. But when I'm doing like a 2:30 a.m. live stream, they all sleep. So probably they're the smartest of the bunch overall. Oh, but yeah, my mum's also been on a live stream. She was on a live stream yesterday. And I was a good song. Cessalos and also on Jamaica Smash. And then Cardiff are paying the ref, says Ricardo there. I hope they're paying him decently. I mean, if you're going to pay the ref, you've got to make sure you make it worth his while, don't you? I think the Stormers have almost won more penalties in this game, so I feel like they need to even it out a little bit more, maybe chuck an extra couple bags at them. Now, Thomas Williams kicking downfield, taken nicely by Lillian Zas. Now goes for the little chip and chase, waiting for it to sit up. He gets it, tries to find the offload to Blomakis, who wasn't able to get it. Leads with the feet, tries to get the turnover. Paul the vet has been able to clean it up, though. Now going off to Franz Malahara. No, that's not Franz Malahara. Is it? No, I think that's JJ Kutza. I was going to say, if that's Franz Malahara, he has either lost 20 kgs in the process of just having half time and also gained about an extra, maybe a couple kilometers of speed. But now backline here for the Stormers. Lillian Zas tries to go forward. In fact, it was Hudson-Berg, and once again, another high shot from Cardiff. No yellow card for high tackle on Blomakis. There's Ricardo there. Now Blomakis tries to go through. 22 meters out. Paul the vet. Gives it off to Mani Labok, tries to find a miracle offload. It doesn't work out, but they will be going back for the initial penalty in favour of the Stormers, awaiting the Stormers' flare. Cessa lost there. And Mrs. Jones, Cessa lost, and also Wicked Wings. Says Nazi, a bunch of Cardiff fans are booing us, except I expect it back when they visit Cape Town, says Ricardo. And the thing is, this stadium, I've actually got Cape Town behind me. This is a lot bigger of a stadium than Cardiff. So it's going to be a little bit of it's going to be a tough visit for them. And you guys know Matthew Screech? Matthew Screech. Why does that name ring a bell? And if you were to Kiwi, which country would you like to come from? Says Darren. I mean, if I wasn't Kiwi, theoretically, I mean, Australia would also be all right just because it's relatively similar in terms of the temperature and whatnot. Cardiff, says Fezbok there. I miss Newlands though, mate. Yes, they lost. Yeah, I mean, I'd always, like, I've got a few countries I'd love to be able to visit. South Africa's one in the future I'd love to go to. That's because I feel like being able to actually sit in one of these seats would be pretty incredible. I haven't seen you very long, Hamish. And as well says Ricardo, yeah, I hope you have been keeping well. And also, hey, from Brandon, he has got a party emoji and a blow in the nose emoji. He's pretty much summed up this live stream. Hay fever has been a thing. But also, we have had a good time while watching these two sides play. A relatively close game as well, which always makes it exciting. But now the rolling ball for the Stormers once again going to be starting. Looks close to the touchline. Break it off. He's been held up. That is absolutely brilliantly done from Cardiff to be able to stop that try. It looks certain that he was going to be able to go over Junior Pocomella, but they've been able to just get enough with Hamish's call mum and 2 cents top dad. We have the makers of legends, or we have the makers of legends to rugby globally, says Eric there. And you come to Brisbane, says running stories. Yeah, I think the last time I was in Brisbane was about 2007, so it's been a little while. Jeez, he was so close. I think it was Junior Pocomella who almost got that ball down, just ended up missing out. I think it's also raining at the moment at the ground by the looks of it. How has Diamani not scored? And there says Ricardo. Extremely close. Right. It's going to be a goal line drop out of here. When they're 3 million, but only one makes it through. Social media platform, 3 million's on here. Other one decides to stay back, says Nate. And there as well. I found it weird the other day because someone mentioned that we are like in the top 0.01% of YouTube creators in New Zealand in terms of numbers, which is absolutely insane to think of. Because we're from a very small town that doesn't really have anything. My Wi-Fi is pretty shocking. So, yeah, it's pretty incredible. I agree, Hamish. I would love to be in South Africa to watch England play Test cricket. And also, what sports do you cover? So, we do cover, at this stage on the channel, we have got rugby. We have got rugby league. We also have done a bit of cricket. Sadly, can't do the Cricket World Cup because we're pretty much being held hostage by another cricketing YouTuber. Pretty much if we do any match footage, or not any match footage, just do match commentary without the footage, they take us down off YouTube for copyright. So they say we use their stuff, which we don't. Then also, we are going to be doing a little bit of football. We've got the Kiwi Lads Sport channel, which I highly recommend, as that's the one that we try out things on that may not allow us to do them on the main channel, if that makes sense, like the ones that might be copyrighted. And when you come to Cape Town, I will welcome you, take you around Cape Town and to the stadium. Says Lawrence there, 401 watching now. Says running stories, another close one. This is a try now for the Stormers. It was not going to be stopped twice in a row. They go over, and that will be the bonus point now for the Stormers. So they'll be pretty happy with that one. And it is going to be Junior Pocomella, who has been able to score himself the first try since making his way out onto the park. Bonus point as well, says Ricardo. So very handy for them. At minimum, Stormers will be walking away with 1 point in this contest. Maximum, they could get themselves 5. Would be massive. Guess I'm doing all night yesterday live, says Brandon. And our report, do you give you a copyright? Says Brandon. So pretty much it's just another channel. Pretty much they copyright strike you so that you have to wait 2 weeks to be able to get the copyright strike removed. And then by then pretty much all of the, I guess, Cricket World Cup is in their favour, I guess you could say. Yeah, you feel, or you need a few like. And there says the running stories and also, yeah, I'm on. Says Salos, and also Stormers kick on now, says Big D on you. This is their big opportunity to try and really put that pressure on Cardiff. Now, Marnie Lebok needs this kick just to give them a bit more confidence. Go forward and come on the Stormers. 1, 2, 3, MS. Apparently, Marnie Lebok, though, he hasn't had his best kicking performance today. Maybe getting a little bit psyched out after not getting selected for the Springboks. Once again, number cover. Better 16 Khaleesi. He's been dangerous throughout this game, number cover, and I hope he does get the opportunity in future for the Boks. Would you like that? Well, I told you it would be quite cool to be able to go to Cape Town Stadium. If you're the subscribers, he's taken an extremely long time, Marnie Lebok, to kick this one, and he's missed again. So he's just getting well and truly psyched out off the kicking too. Yeah, the Capies will feed you some snook. What is that? I know a bry. I know what that is. And try the Stormers, says Andre. Also come on the Stormers, says 1, 2, 3. Also, Khaleesi has fallen down since he went to Oil Money Durban, says Ricardo. Nice try scored by Junior Pocomella. It looks like now Cardiff have decided to make a couple more changes. It is going to be Dimichnowski making his way out there. And also, I believe it's James Botham now out there as well. Hamish, who will win in New Zealand in the Rugby League. New Zealand currently winning 56 points to 0 over Jamaica, so doing very nicely for themselves. Remove Lebok, ship him back to the Bulls, says Ricardo. Let's go the champions Stormers, Says Reno. It's a nice day here at the moment. 10 degrees Celsius, not too bad. Probably going to sneeze again before the end of the live stream. And also, we've got there Gomezulu is way better than Labok, says Ricardo there. Now, fire back into the pocket. Marnie Labok manages to get that kick away. It has found touch, but Cardiff still going to be on the attack. Currently sitting 24-24. And it's a fish. There's Randolph there. Okay. So I guess, how would you prepare this fish? Would you braai it? Or would you, I guess, put it in something else? Do let me know. Hey, rugby mates, I wear a statue in there as well, says Neil. So I believe he's not statue or Satcha off the bench. Do let me know, Neil. And sneezing right at I doing. There's Brandon there, but the throw-in about to come. Kirby Myhill. Taking their time here, Cardiff. Time off. Mike Adamson's not happy. Okay, so I think there's a bit of gap closing going on. Are you getting 60s, Lawrence? Nah, it's just hay fever. I pretty much get it every single morning, unfortunately, which is something that sometimes works in my favour because I'm not normally up during the mornings. But with the Rugby League World Cup at 7:30 a.m. on most days, and also with the URC, it does mean that I am sometimes awake. That's going to be beautifully stolen by, I believe it was actually the big man and number 6, Nabakaba. Now kick downfield, the Stormers looking to chase this one relatively hard. It is going to be the try scorer. Kicking back downfield, Harris. Going for the ball. It's going to be slapped back onto the side of Cardiff. Going to be able to get it back. Josh Turnbull now gets himself another opportunity. One moment. We'll go there. Get tied from Ben Thomas. And nicely taken by Cardiff, so they have still got the position. 65 minutes now gone in this contest between the two sides. Brilliant shot there. I believe it was out of hip. Now kick tie once again from Priestland. I've been chasing these ones hard, Cardiff, and almost able to get his hands onto it. Just only got the one, and I love Snook smoked. And yeah, Storms will kick us now. And also we have got their Pantry or Bry, good either way. Anyway, says Salos, and also Bry or Fryer. And also we have there, come on Stormers, let's bounce back. Any comments about how it's being reffed? I think in all games of rugby at the moment, there are some good decisions and some bad ones. Unfortunately, I think it's just there's too much variation between refereeing. Like one referee will see one thing one way, and then another referee will see it completely differently, even though the rule book or the law book has it written the exact same way, if that makes sense. And also when you reset your router, is everything still lagging on your end? Camera decides to turn off, says Nate. And then so pretty much before the live stream, I'll reset it about maybe 6 times, just because that's how many times I need to do it before we get the rugby, or not the rugby, but before we get a decent upload speed. Because download's normally not bad, but it's upload that I need to be able to live stream without too many glitches. And then also, I think the reason the camera cuts in and out sometimes is because I've got it plugged into a multi-USB box. And one of those is the camera. And I'm considering changing it so that the camera and microphone are actually both through the PC so that it doesn't end up glitching as often. A close game between these two clubs, exactly right. 24 all. Stormers, they had a draw in one of their last matches up against the Ospreys. Paul DeVette now fires it back across the money. Labok, Clayton Blykes joins the line. Kicks it in behind. It's a great kick downfield. And Cardiff, they will not take this one quickly, and between Labok's kicking and Weber's throw-ins, going to be tough for the Stormers to win this one. Yes, they don't follow the rule books, like I says Rhino there. And also, come on, the Stormers, boys, we need that 5 points. All they need now is the win. They've got that bonus point on the board. Brock Harris now making his way onto the field for Frans Malherbe. I feel like Frans Malherbe, because they're on the far side of the field, he didn't want to turn around because he knew that as soon as he turns around, he's got to run the whole length of the field sideways to then get back off there. He would have much preferred coming off a bit later on. Malherbe put in a shift just to get off the field, let alone what he was able to accomplish while he was out there. I am still waiting for you to play the didgeridoo, says Rudy there. Interesting. I mean, we'd have to probably ship one over from Australia. What's a New Zealand national instrument that we've got? I don't think we've got many New Zealand national instruments. I don't think we got one. I mean, I've got a guitar next to me, but It's funny. I don't actually know the New Zealand national anthem, but I know the South African one. There we go. That was a quickfire one that I almost accidentally yanked my headphones out. But that was all while there was still a line out about to take place. So we managed to do it quite nicely. And Wellington win last night. So that's on Discord last night, says Brandon. And also we have laws written and unwritten. It's almost by 7 for Limsa. Did the kicks maybe with 18. Says Rhino there. But now it'll be a line out throw for JJ Kotsia. Goes it nicely to the front. And the Stormers will begin to roll once again. It was actually taken by the number 19, who only recently made his way onto the field, Ben Jason Dixon. And I was like, wow, and for the Kiwi, well done. Since Rhino in there. And also, what's the difference between a Stormers rugby team and a teabag? A teabag stays in the cup longer. Ooh, brutal. Now, this looks like it's going to be a tough breakdown to referee, although they've managed to get everyone out of there that wasn't supposed to be in there. Mahoney Labok now going to be going for the kick in behind. Waiting for it to come down. That was a good chase from Clayton Blommakis and Lecky Hamish. And there, as says Neil. Right, going back for the penalty in favour of Cardiff. This one's from about 48 metres out. This is kickable if they want it. In fact, it might actually know it's from 40 metres out. This one's very kickable, and the rain is now falling. Now, the thing is, in my last live stream, I mentioned if there's no rain, Stormers by 7. If there's rain, Cardiff by 3. They were my predictions. And at the moment, there is rain, and Cardiff now want to get themselves 3 points in the lead here. But there's still 11 minutes left on the clock, so plenty of time for these two sides to be able to decide who goes through. 69 minutes through, though. Cardiff, it is Priestland. He's had a very successful kicking day, other than the one that hit the post. Why can't I see this game on Sky Sports? It is on Spark Sport for this matchup because it's not on Sky. Says Richard and Labok is having an off game, to be kind. Says 123 MS. And go, boys, Stormers, you are the best. Says, is it Tricia? Hopefully I've said that correctly. Do let me know if I've got that slightly wrong. Priestland now, though. Lining up the kick. And it's over. So now Cardiff, with 10 minutes left on the board, have got themselves 3 points in favour of themselves. We have got, can't believe Cardiff are winning, just turned it on. Says Greg Galway and Wheat Storm going on castrated Bulls last week. Says Mike on Premier Sports 2. There's another option for it, and also Trisha. Is that how you say it? Maybe? Oh, I do see that Ted Williams making his way out onto the field. Now, there was actually a late change that they had to make. Nicely taken. Now 22 metres out from their own line. Lapeti Tamani has a nice carry. I believe one of the first that we have seen from him today. Now rolling the ball back, Thomas Williams. He's been solid. I don't think they'll be making his change anytime soon because he's been looking very good indeed. And also, we're really coming Cardiff. I want you guys to win so Sharks can take over the Stormers. Here's Lawrence now back across. Mahoney Labok kicks it high, and the crowd know that he's having a bit of an off day. So every chance that they get, they make some loud noise when he's got the ball just to try and put him off. Although now Cardiff, it's a knock on. Goes back into the hands of Hudsonberg. So just little mistakes on the ground now. The handling getting slippery out there. Great rush defence from the number 18, Dimitri. A hip there. Now Paul the vet, that's going to be the knock on. Okay, they're going back for the initial knock on. So it's going to be the Stormers scrum feed. And Mad Mike, I feel for the Stormers. A question for you, Hamish. Do you think Canterbury don't play good last night? I think it's more they just got, I guess you could say, outplayed by Wellington. Wellington seemed like the hungrier side throughout that contest, and it showed in the end score. I was a bit disappointed with France versus Fiji, though, because Fiji were beaten by a lot more points than I would have liked to see, unfortunately. So they are no longer going to be in the running, I don't think, for a World Cup chance. Currently now, no. Now, though, I should say. 71 and a half minutes through. Cardiff, 27 points to 24. Do you remember my band? Says Rudy there. Your band? Am I a part of your band? Did you see? I mean, I also do birthday parties. Is it your birthday? Because if it is, that was for you, Rudy. Now kicked him behind from the Stormers. And be available for the number 11, Kapunga. He isn't known for his kicking, I don't think, because that one's gone off the side of the boot. Come on, the Stormers, please win. And come on, the Stormers, says Neil at England versus America today, says Brandon. Yeah, that's going to be a good match in the Women's World Cup. See exactly who's able to get themselves the victory. Oh, no, says Brandon. No, says Sam. 72.5 minutes through, the Stormers having a team meeting. Cardiff don't look like they're going to be able to get themselves a bonus point here, mainly because they haven't quite got enough time left, I wouldn't think, to score 2 more tries. Whereas the Stormers have already got one to fill for the Cardiff team when the end whistle blow, says Rhino there. And Lawrence Easy Bud, he's not a lot of quality there. They can't play that card. They must end and earn, or they must play and earn the climb up against Denzo. And South Africa teams are struggling with weather in the north. South Africa teams have lost a lot of players who are in their prime. Also, like a man comes to Stormers, says Sam, bring him over at Hamish. Got distracted watching the Kiwis versus Jamaica. Maybe New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda forgot to pay New Zealand internet. There's currently 7 minutes left on the clock. The ball's been stripped. The Paul de Vet has just been able to jump on it. I know there is a huge amount of pressure, and the Cardiff Blues take it back again. How much time left? 7 minutes is all that is left on the board. You play guitar at the Mitzvah, Hamish. I do not. I hardly play guitar anywhere other than my lounge, just because it normally, I think I get very lucky with how well it goes. Look like a very happy man in the Cardiff crowd there. They really want to get up their side over the try line. One last 96 minutes, is running stories. And also Manchester Orchestra, send Rudy in there. Stormers goes to Stephanie. Yeah, I think I've played pretty much every song that I know on the live streams. So I feel like I need more new songs, don't I? I need to learn. Now, it's like it's going to be a scrum here. A little bit of an injury for Tamani. I was trying to yawn there. Didn't really work. More live stream today, says Brandon. I think our next live stream that we've got is actually the 5:30 a.m. live stream. It's taking place between Samoa and Greece. That's going to be an exciting one. We've actually got a video coming out later on today, though, and that is going to be me and George playing along with Rugby League Live 4, Samoa and Greece. There's a lot of swearing in it. I had to censor it all. And also, we have this, sorry, Megan, you guys are losing, but I love you. There's Lawrence. And in there as well. 6 minutes left. Come on, the Stormers. If you can't win, go for the draw, says 123 MS. That's the thing. Draws, they will add up the points as well. Of course, a win would be absolutely terrific for both of these sides, but at worst, you're still looking at about 3 points each. And play Robbie's Vessel. Hallelujah, says Rhino. I'm not too sure about that one. Stephen Kitsoff's been taken off the field, and that is going to be for Queensland Blues. It's now out there on the park for the final few moments of the game. Tackles made. We've seen 88 made by the Stormers, 5 tackles missed compared to Cardiff, 116 tackles made, and they have missed a total of 20. And as we get there, come on the Stormers, my heart is breaking. There's Megan in there as well. Although still time, 6 minutes left. They've just had a bit of a team huddle, drinks break of sorts for both of the sides, and just to make sure that Lapeti Tamani was all right to continue. And also, did not see you drinking anything, water or Coke. There's running stories. So I sometimes have water in between the live streams or on the live streams, depending on how dry the throat does get. It's normally not too bad, though. Normally talk for a long time without too many problems. And Stormers, come on, boys. We need to bag this one, says Senzo. Now the rolling mill starts again. Here come the Stormers. JJ Akwutse at the back. They've got another advantage. Sitting about 40 metres out. Labok has dropped the ball, and they're going to be going back for the initial penalty. Don't worry, Stormers will win this game, says Russell. And I'm interested to know what the betting odds are saying. I know that Cardiff to win this game at the start of the match were $3.50 underdogs, but the weather is certainly helping that a little bit. And also the way that we have seen them playing has been very impressive as well. So Rugby Union, what have we got in terms of the odds? So the Stormers are $2.60. Hang on. $2.60 for the Stormers to win, $2.30 for Cardiff to win, and $3.30 for the draw. So it's actually like all of the odds are decent for this game. Jamaica scored a try first in New Zealand. I did see that they have managed to make it 68 points to 6 now. So the Stormers must put on Sachet Mezulu. I always struggle with that name, but I certainly know that he's got the potential of scoring tries when he gets the opportunity to lift it up. Yeah, I think they are asking for the penalty. They're not going to receive it, though. The Stormers trying to go for that rolling ball. It's gone down. Now they'll have to look for this ball out the back. Brock Harris trying to wrestle it out. Now Paul DeVette receives it at the back. First receiver, Dan Duplessis. Interesting choice to throw his body on the line, but has worked out not too bad for them here. Now it's going to be Diamani, the big man. Been dangerous throughout this game. Paul DeVette now off to Willie Engelbrecht, the Pumas representative. The Stormers on hot attack right now, and all they need is to get this line break, and maybe it will be enough to get themselves another win in the URC competition. It's a knock-on, though. That was not what was in the cards for the Stormers. Big defence from Cardiff, and the ball put down by JJ Kurtzia. And also, yeah, the best team is going to win. And also, we have got and there Gareth Edwards, and also Cardiff against the odds. There's Hanoi 1 blue, and it's white and blue. Stormers with 4. Says Rhino to all the Stormers fan, you guys are going to lose, says Lawrence. But yeah, JJ puts the ball down. Not a lot of time left on the clock now. Stormers more wind coming out my ass, says Michael. Interesting. And yes, boys, we can win this game, says Russell. Tamani looks like he's down again for a little bit more time. Okay, they've got the scrum feed. Still 3.5 minutes left in this one, and Stormers need to adopt play until the last whistle. That draw last week was not acceptable after leading so long, said Senzo. Yeah, they've just got to find that last-minute attacking brilliance. A lot of their games are taking place in the rain, so I guess they'll be getting used to having to try and play in wet conditions where handling can be so crucial for those final 60 seconds or so, and they're going to have to try and get this ball back. Currently inside of the Cardiff 22, though, with the scrum feet going the way of Cardiff, so more than likely a kick downfield could be on the cards here. Come on, Stormers, says Sam Brink. Yeah, the rain is still pouring, I know, says Russell. Oh, there's a few players limping around a little bit out there on the park. We've put in some huge shifts for their sides. Neither of these sides have played that badly. They've played pretty well, but it's just those little moments in the game, whether it's the knock-ons from the Stormers, we're seeing way more than we normally see. No, says Russell there. Right. The final 3 minutes of this contest now. Thomas Williams about to feed this ball, and they haven't changed him throughout this whole match, and I don't believe they're going to with only 3 minutes left on the clock. Ball now going to be almost a massive push from the Stormers, but they haven't been able to get the turnover. Now going off to the short side. Counter-attack down the wing now. They've decided to run it out from their own 22. Dangerous tactic from Cardiff, but it's almost worked out for them. And Thomas Williams will be trying to use up as much time on the clock as they physically can. Very bad, says Andre. And Dylan falling on above, and this is a big upset. That's going to be the penalty going the way of Cardiff. Hands on the ground from the Stormers. I believe that one is against Willie Engelbrecht, is it? Or might have actually been the man underneath Willie Engelbrecht. Was Ben Jason Dixon. And please, boys, go Stormers fans. I feel for you guys. And also, we have got there. Is this a big upset? It's a relatively big upset, I'd have to say. $3.50 underdogs the Cardiff Blues were coming into this game. Currently 2 minutes away from my score prediction being correct, though. And I said that if it was dry, the Stormers by 7. If it was raining, Cardiff by 3. Currently, it's raining and Cardiff are up by 3 with 2 minutes left on the clock. So it's going to be a tricky one for them. They've got this line out there. More than likely, they will try and use phase after phase, try and get the advantage. This could be another draw. There's a possibility. Tell you what, if Cardiff don't end up winning this, they may regret their choice at the end of that first half. We think back to it, and they went for a drop goal attempt when they had a hot attack going. They decided against using the ball, instead tried to drop kick it, and they missed the drop kick. Right. Ball's thrown in. Cardiff have secured it. Now the rolling maul begins. They've got the advantage. So all they need to do, the referee blows the advantage and the penalty. That's probably a little bit earlier than Cardiff would have liked, because they would have preferred to go for about 3 or 4 phases and then being able to go for the posts. Cardiff, you have a good well done in 3 minutes, Lawrence. I feel sorry. And you really thought Black Caps can beat Australia by so much big margin. 89 runs after 11 years. There's going, it was a massive one for them. That is for sure. Please play me Terminator theme song on your ukulele, says Rudy. I don't actually know the Terminator theme song, unfortunately, on guitar. Would you prefer URC to the same old Super Rugby, says Hanoi? I mean, it's a new concept, I guess, for the URC, but eventually I assume it will end up getting to that same stage of once it's been a competition for a while. Some people may look at it as kind of repetitive as well. But, Marvin Ortiz lost his number on his back. Right. So there is currently 15 seconds left on the clock. So Cardiff will have enough time to be able to kick this one, and then that would be the end of the game. The thing is, though, if this ball hits the post or doesn't go dead, we are still playing on for a little bit longer. Right, commentary as ever, Hamish. Good night from Auckland in England. And please, says Dylan, and also Stormers go, boys. Dylan, in times of need, bud. Says Senzo there, and Cardiff, you have done well. They have played very well in this game, Cardiff. And now the kick for the post. It's gone over, and that is going to make the score 30 points, 224, and the victory goes the way of Cardiff. In front of a home crowd, they have been able to end the winning streak of these Stormers. So now we look forward to next week to see whether or not we have any other upsets in the URC competition. Stormers all the way, no matter what the score, says Megan. And there's a Labok kick over, or one over, but at least a draw, says Senzo, and FFS says a loss. And there as well. But yeah, Cardiff giving themselves a nice win. So that will actually move them up to about, I believe, about 5th on the table at the moment. The Stormers, they will still get the bonus point for being able to score 4 tries in this contest, but they will be disappointed to not be able to walk away with a possible victory throughout this game. Cheers from Cape Town, says Lewis in there. No worries at all, mate. And there you go. Congrats, says Running Stories. And there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Tomorrow night, we have got the Samoa versus Greece game of the Rugby League World Cup. Also later on today, a Rugby League Live 4 gaming video of us playing that exact match on Rugby League Live 4. Also, we have got the URC next weekend, the Women's World Cup, the Rugby League World Cup, whole heap of rugby coming up in the near future, including some internationals, the All Blacks in action, and also the Wallabies going to be playing up against Scotland. And well done, Cardiff. See you in Cape Town. Says a Rhino. And there as well, Sharks is going to win this cup. Says Lawrence, and ref was against us. Says Ricardo. And see you in Cape Town. Says a loss there as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all for the next one.